Is up, you boost and bullshitters?
What's
Episode
happening, guys?
episode 42, big ones, dude.
42, almost getting to my age. About
Almost to
four
your
more.
age.
Yep, yep.
Hell, we need 142 to get close to you. Look, dude, we got
Shit.
a big show tonight. We got this
Big
driver
show.
extraordinaire tonight coming on, the bearded one.
The bearded, the boosted bearded, whatever you want to call him.
He drives everything: radials, pro mods, he big tire, small tire, grudge racing. He drives it all. NHRA. We got Mr. Lyle Barnett on tonight. This episode is brought to us by Hearts Charger tonight. We got to represent those guys. And, what you been into, bro?
Nothing much, man. Just been working. It's been hot. Gosh, it finally cooled off a little bit today. We kind of got some good weather, low humidity coming in. But, it's just been, you know, it's been a week. I'll just be honest with you. I've had some stuff at work going on last couple of weeks. Nothing major, just different changes, things we got to do to get going. It's part of life, but no racing, man. It's been kind of shitty. I'll be honest with you.
Well, I've been off too. You've been racing a little bit. I've been off a little bit. We got a big one coming up here 3 days away.
That's right. That's right. We got Galot PDRA or be the last two we got coming up. So we got this one and then the World Finals at Virginia, but this is the next one in the PDRA series. It's going to be a big one, man. I've had a lot of phone calls, a lot of people coming, a lot of stuff going on with racing right now. Just crazy amounts of rumors going around, people getting new cars, a lot of grudge smack talk going on in the grudge world. We had some bad news, unfortunately, yesterday, Block unfortunately passed away this weekend in a racing incident up in Ohio. It was terrible, man. And I hope the rumors are not true that I heard. I heard some pretty nasty rumors about people that were there and saw the whole thing. And, I'm going to talk to Lyle a little bit because I think safety is probably one of Lyle's biggest priorities coming from where he's been and seeing the things that I've seen just being in a racetrack my whole entire life. I've seen some rough stuff, but we'll get into that when he gets on there.
Yeah, we'll get on there and all that. And hey guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, boost and bullshit.
Yep.
Keep it up. We got to hit that like button up there. Keeps the lights on.
It's on the bottom, Steve.
It is?
Like and subscribe
on the bottom. It is on the bottom.
Yeah. You can tell he doesn't watch YouTube much.
I'm not a YouTuber. Yeah. I'm just here trying to keep everybody happy. Look, you're leading the points.
I don't want to talk about it.
You're leading the points. We got 2 races to go. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. I don't like talking about points. I feel like every time I talk about points, it kind of jinxes me a little bit. But it's a tough race. Me and Lyle raced each other in Bristol, and there's a lot more competition coming just because we don't have the amount of races left. I kind of shortened everything up with NHRA shit in the bed. But dude, I mean, we've had so much drama in the last 2 months that it's given people like me and you a lot to talk about. We've had a lot of things to talk about as far as on the podcast and racing. And, a lot of people want to know what me and you are doing. Steve's working out in the dirt and I'm just getting greasy with mechanicking. And, it's been on, man. It's been a heck of a month or so. I feel like I haven't raced in a month, what it feels like.
And you've been working your tail off, I'm sure. So it helps you catch up a little bit, but sometimes getting back to the racetrack is kind of soothing.
It is. It's hard to explain to people that don't really know how to experience, and even to fans that do come a lot. For us, it's like our own little subdivision that moves around from state to state to different racetracks. Everybody kind of always parks in their little cliques, and then it kind of comes together for those 4 or 5 days, and get to see a lot of people. We talk on the phone a lot of, we got our little group of guys. We all talk on the phone back and forth if something's happening, but even me and you haven't talked that much. I mean, it's just
been hammered down working, baby, working like the rest of the world. And people they think you're just racing full time, but that ain't the case, right?
I wish.
Right.
I feel like Lyle races full time though. I do feel like that. So.
He does do a lot of jumping, grudge, NHRA, PDRA, back over the radials. That dude does some running.
He does, man. It's one of those things. He's got his own podcast, Shake and Bake. They were kind of the beginners of this whole what I'd call smack talking podcast thing that comes about. I've been doing some work on. I got some Puerto Rican friends that stayed over from Maryland. They really didn't have anywhere to store their stuff, and they were keeping it in a storage facility up there, kind of close to you. And I think they were just kind of nervous about leaving it up there, just because they had left their car a few times, and they had a lot of service work to do. They had some trouble at Maryland, so I've had a car at my shop, been rebuilding some motors for them and getting their stuff all. I mean, it,
So
it
that's more work for you.
it is, but it's kind of been fun, dude, because I like helping people, man. I've always been in the helping business, being in the fire department stuff that I do, and being a mechanic. It is nice to help people when they're in need, especially somebody that appreciates it. And these guys, man, they try hard. You got to think about it. They fly all the way in from Puerto Rico, just like Raymond Matos and them guys. Fly all the way in from Puerto Rico. They drive from wherever they keep their rig, and then they service their car before when they get there, and then they get ready for the next race before they even leave. So I mean, it's a I think we're spoiled. We ought to be grateful for what we got.
We are, and those guys are diehards and great racers as well. They
Yeah,
just shows you how much they put into the tank to fly over here and do all that. And
it is. It is. It's been I bitch and complain about what we spend, but then you look at what these guys. I mean, they're coming a long way just to race with the caliper racers like that we get to talk and race with on a daily basis. So
yep, how
um,
and you join in Pro Boost, you
yeah,
better
you better
have
be ready to go.
there is no joke from 1 to 16 in that field.
Well, and you're not bringing the Corvette, right?
No, we're getting ready for Yellow Bullet.
Yep,
Is
Yellow
the week
Bullet, man.
after that, so that's a big race for us. And up there, Monty does a lot, and Jim and those guys, and it's a lot of kid stuff up there. And Gene is big on that. A lot of kids involved in that race and
Yeah.
giveaways and stuff. So we're going up there, but I am going to make a little show up there in a little top dragster.
Whoa, I'm going.
I'm gonna drive a little top dragster, see what that's all about. I'm gonna jump into the pool of sharks over there because them guys are
Tough.
tough, tough, tough. So I'm gonna jump in there and see what I can do.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you were coming with the car with the Savage when you said you were coming, but then I forgot you said you were running the top dragster. So you're going to be that's tough, brother. I don't.
That's
How fast does it go?
430s. I don't know
So
if it'll get in or not. It's gonna
no,
be
you'll
close.
be on the back half more than
Yep.
likely.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm not gonna try to get in the tone. It's just a
Elite.
naturally aspirated deal. And hey, give me something to wheel, see if I can't hit the tree some. And
Yeah, I mean, dude, I talked to Rivenbark today, yeah, Kevin, and just briefly about something non-racing related. But I asked him, I was like, "Hey, is people starting to show up?" And he says, "Man, we've been getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of people buying camping spots, buying 3-day passes, wondering where they can do this and do that." There was a lady in my shop today that she delivers parts and does stuff. For O'Reilly's as a part-time gig, elderly lady, just she's retired, needs something to do, and she's bringing her family. Her sister's getting a room at the hotel down the road because they didn't want to drive home late at night on Friday night or Saturday night, whichever night they're coming. But I mean, Glot's always a special place for me just because it's a home racetrack. It's kind of tough. I have a lot of people show up. Uh, it gets crowded in my pits, but I enjoy it. I really do. It's the only time I can really show out to the local. I don't know if Keith's
I
coming.
haven't heard about Keith. I haven't
You
heard.
never know with Keith. Keith's liable to show up.
He bounces in, bounces. You never know about Keith.
Yep.
But they got a lot of races going on out there as well, so it's hard to say about.
Yep.
I haven't talked to Keith in a while, but I don't know. I'm gonna jump in there. My buddy Robbie Stewart over here, he's gonna run Top Sportsman. I'm gonna take his dragster and just see what I can do with them boys. I mean, if I can
Yeah.
get in, you got a chance. But I'm telling you, it's like Pro Boost. You got to be deadly every run.
You better. I mean, you better. I've run Top Dragster in years past, and I've seen some of the stuff. And again, it's hit and miss just depending on where you're at and who you're up against. But most of those guys are 00 and dead on most of the time, especially in the back half part that
Yes,
don't go quite as fast. I'd say the elite guys there's some tough guys in the elite guys, but the track and the condition kind of plays a role in what he does.
I agree. And we'll see. Hey, if you're gonna be a good driver, you got to be a good driver in whatever you get in.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just going to make you better. I mean, that's more hits at the tree. I've been out of the seat for a little bit, so I'm going to go down there and see what we can do. And
yeah,
hey, we'll ride it out,
Yeah.
What else you got going on?
Let's see.
They're jumping on.
I heard some crazy stuff today, just off the wall. I don't even believe it. I got to see it to believe it. I heard some people got paid today.
I did read a comment about that. I don't know who they was or if they got paid or what, but I did see some comments.
Well, a little Herman bird came down. He flew in and he whispered in my ear this morning through text message that some of the equipment got sold off today. So, like some of the rotators and the tractors and stuff like that got sold off. So who knows, man? I did see that somebody from the power boat side got paid. I saw maybe some of the workers got paid today from NHRA. So, I mean,
Big.
maybe there's a silver lining here. You know, what I mean, maybe homeboys.
Got a conscience.
I hope he does.
Yeah, well, I think that I'm just let's hope the well and hope it trickles a little bit out.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's a tough gig. I mean, we all know that God, we beat the dead horse to a dog, beat him down, but
dude.
it's is it good? Is it bad? Who knows? I mean,
I don't know. Wes and then put that article out in Drag Illustrated. If you hadn't checked it out, go check out Drag Illustrated. They put up a good article. It was a very informative article. It was lengthy. You kind of got to go with it and just read it through and then kind of make heads or tails of what you got. But you got it. The fact that, he's doing work for, this is what I gathered from it. He's doing work for Elon. Uh, he claiming that he did work. Elon short paid him. So he files a judgment against where this is all happening in Memphis, I assume, is what it looked like. And that's kind of what the rumors we had heard, because he had bought a new building in Memphis and was building a data center for Elon. And supposedly he did such a great job that Elon made him like his top builder guy or whatever he does, logistics guy for the internal stuff. Then in turn, so he kind of made Elon look like the bad guy. Like, oh, Elon didn't pay his bills. But I mean, Elon's a trillionaire, dude. Yeah, I
he didn't
mean,
get there by being dumb.
no, he didn't. And I don't think Elon's going to let somebody just sit around and talk trash on him either.
No,
Not like that.
he's
Not
got
about
way too
money.
much. I mean, was it right or wrong? Eventually, I'm sure the lawyers are going to let us know who's right and wrong in this
Yeah.
situation. That's who's
So
going to
then,
make the money.
right. So then Elon backs it up and says, okay, well, here's the real story. We were using this guy. He was subbing out subcontractors. You're only allowed to charge this much for some contractors. And from what I read, it seemed like the guy was overcharging for subcontractors, or either charging for subcontractors that didn't exist. Like maybe he was using some of his internal stuff. And then there was some weird stuff about how, all his tracks were named Durana and things were getting shipped to, or money was getting put into places for the Durana name to the racetrack, that kind of thing. But it kind of got hairy for a while, and then they asked some different questions from some different people, and me included, and put me in there. But I think the biggest loser at this point in time is just the racetracks. We've said that before, and we're beating a dead horse. I mean, the racetracks just seem to be the problem, but
we'll see where all that gets to, right?
So
Eventually,
I heard they're all auctioning.
wow.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I'd heard a little rumor about that, and God, hope some of these. You've heard lease to own options. There's so many options out there with some of the racetracks, and does he own some of them outright? I mean, that's all fine print that I have no idea about. I mean, you probably have more info on that than most of us.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me about Piedmont. Look, I mean, we went out to Piedmont. We had some investors go look at it. You know, Piedmont's still there. I'll tell you this: the racing service is still there. The walls and stuff are gone. Most of the asphalt and stuff's gone beside the racetrack. They did some kind of deal at the other end where they cut into the shut off area to try to make it flat, and it's a mess. Obviously, it's grown up. There's no maintenance being done there, but I feel like somebody could go in there if they had a lot of money and wanted to fix it up and make it nice. But I think this is a good opportunity for somebody to really go in and buy it and make it into a glot, or a better version of what it was, because it was starting to show some age.
It was time.
It's been there since the 40s, bro. I got a picture of Richard Petty racing there in the 40s when it was dirt.
Yep.
So, and I've always been told, and I'm going to give you a history lesson before we bring Lyle on, but So the rumor always was that they were building the road, which is Holt Store Road, as a road that goes by there. When they cut through, they cut into the farmer's land and missed whatever they messed up. So they had to back up and kind of move the road to the side, and that's how that drag strip kind of got started.
There you go. And
That was always.
You've been involved there a long time, so you know
I have.
most about it.
Yep,
so.
I have. But I don't know if that's true or not. There's nobody alive probably can tell you that. Richard probably could, but
I mean, if you had 2 or 3 million extra laying around.
Well, look at there. Hey, it's time. Let's bring him on. The man himself, Lyle Barnett. He's let's see, radials, beer money. He races beer money. He runs no prep. He runs all kinds of stuff. What'd you do?
I hit a button like a dummy.
Well, I was already doing the intro. Intro. So that's never mind. We'll do the intro. We'll bring him on. I was already doing it. Here we go. All right. We're bringing him on. The man himself, Lyle Barnett. He's done radials. He's done beer money. He's done all kinds of things. Anything to do with a steering wheel or tires, he's done it. He's been on TV. He's been upside down. He's been on fire. He's been all kinds of places you don't want to imagine. He's the owner of Mac Fab Beadlocks. He is probably one of the best drivers coming up right now that you can imagine. The bearded one himself, Mr. Lyle Barnett.
What up?
What's happening?
Man, just fresh off of a good session of weed eating.
Right.
Tonight was back to school night, preschool for my son. He's 4. He's at St. Luke's preschool. So they went to back to school. So me and my daughter hung out here. She'll be 1 in like
That's
2
hard
weeks.
to believe. That's hard to believe.
Crazy. But I had about 90% of my mowing done, and I was like, damn, man, I'd really like to finish. So I walked in the laundry room and I was like, I can get that, what do you call it? The holder thing that holds them in front of you, whatever, sling.
Papoose.
I'm like, I can put her in that. They're like a monkey screwing a football. I had her in it, legs were sprawled out. I threw the straps over my shoulders, put her little pink earmuffs on, and we finished about 10% of mowing I had done. But
she probably enjoyed that.
Yeah.
She did until I've got some fruit trees in my front yard that my grandparents, because my wife and I bought my grandparents' house.
Yeah.
There's some fruit trees out there. They got some oddly low limbs, and I have a fairly decent sized right lawnmower, which if you're in the market for lawnmowers, right mower's the place to go. It's got that big arch, the big metal thing over the top. We're cruising along. I went under this fruit tree, and all of a sudden it starts picking the front wheels up off the ground. I was like, oh no. So I pulled back on what they call those things, the arms. Yeah,
sticks, I guess.
They call them something. Anyway, bales. They call them bales.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it slams the front end down, and she not a fan. So the last 2 strips I made, she was going, Rah! Sound like Steve King after he gets crushed.
Oh,
but
here we go. That's funny shit.
But anyway, so
see, me and Lyle don't live that far apart. We're like 45 minutes apart.
Yeah.
I see. I'm gonna have a tough time this whole session here with 2 flathead guys on here.
Listen. All your great racers come from North Carolina,
and you've had your glory.
I have. Okay, I agree. Yeah. Hey, you guys been running good.
But
I can't knock
all the. Jason's right. Some of the best. If you put the top, I don't know, man, call it 25 pro mod racers of all time, over half of them are from North Carolina.
I guarantee it. I mean, you talk, and we're talking about from years past.
Yeah. I'm talking. Yeah, go all the way back to when it started, which was also here. Right.
Yeah.
But it basically started down there.
I enjoy. You seen the guy drag racing media guy's been putting a lot of the old school Shuffletown stuff on there, and a lot of the old shady side stuff.
I watched one today. I think it was from like 2004, which, I mean, that really was a long time ago now. But it was Tommy Mooney. I can't remember who was in the other lane. It was just one run, but you could go to YouTube and watch the entire race. And some of those old shootouts are freaking cool. Like when Blake Wiggins and those guys were battling it out to be the first to 200, in the quarter back then. Just, man, it's freaking cool.
I watched one from the Sunoco shootouts. I forgot all about those Sunoco shootouts. And that was basically like real fast top sportsman cars that went around to a lot of the IHRA stuff. Locally and the division races, and they raced them, and Ed Burnley crashed at Carolina Dragway.
Yep, I saw.
You remember that?
I just saw the video the other day.
Yeah, but I didn't even know he had a yellow body Camaro style like that with the big wings and stuff.
I didn't have all that luxury. I had Summer Duck and Clyde Scott and Jason Scruggs match racing up there every once in a while. And
Oh,
Ricky
hey.
Smith slipped in every once in a while. So
Those were good days too, man.
yes, sir.
Yep.
That was
Good
good stuff.
stuff.
I'm too
So,
old. I'm old now, though, so
you've been doing a lot. Like, dude, Lyle's like an old shoe. They put him in a car and say, "Here, go make laps."
Yes.
So,
I've now made I didn't bring my laptop. I'd pull it up. I've made over 300 runs in 17 different race cars this year since January the 1st.
that is unbelievable.
You know, and it's part of the reason that, you know, I am able to just jump in and out of race cars and none of it really matters. You know, like for the first time in years, I drove a big inch nitrous car at Rockingham a couple weeks ago. Went to the semis, and the car's name is Pandemic. It runs into 484 stuff. I have no idea how big the motor is. However big you can get a 484 from, that's a TRE, I believe. But anyway, they're fast. I don't know how fast. I'm one of those drivers that just got stuck in the seat, and I told him from Jump Street, I'm like, I don't need to see a time slip. I need to see one number on the top of that time slip, and that's it.
RT.
Yes. But that was the 17th car I'd driven this year. Went to Indy last week, tested some quarter mile stuff. The U.S. Nationals is next week in Indy, the biggest one of them all. I was fortunate enough to set the shop. I was gonna say, thought my Wally was back there, but I won that race in 2022. One of the three.
The turbo car then?
Yep. Let's look.
Turbo, bang, bang, pop.
There it is. The whole.
There.
Oh, yeah.
The old red Bullet. That was the car that Erica Ender set the national speed record in maybe the year before. She went 261 before they took 2 pounds of boost from it. I ended up going 258 in that car. But anyway.
I remember watching that every round by round, you know, just pull for your buddies, you know. Can't be there. I want him to win.
And I miss the turbo stuff, man. I really wish that they would get the rules right in NHRA and allow for. Actually, let me take that back. The rules are right. They still require a pretty archaic boost controller that makes it really hard to race those cars.
Still the same one, the hyperactive.
Yeah. And like Joe, I love Joe and hyperactive. It was a great piece when it came out. You know what I mean? And now there's so much better stuff out there, but they allow like this specific old Atari style unit, you know.
Technology.
And you have to buy it from them too, right?
Yeah.
And it's serial numbered from them.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And there's all kind of, we could go deep into why it's not as good as what's available now and whatnot. But anyway, that was a long way to say I was in Indy last week testing quarter mile cars with Billy Banaka. We ran really well there and feel like we got something good going to Indy. PDRA at Galat this week. There's just a lot of racing going on. Just fixing to fire back up after a decent
I would not be upset if you did not come to Galat this week.
Well, there's a chance I may not, but
there you go. How did your deal with Billy come about?
So Billy's granddaughter got married the weekend of the Gator Nationals, which is always our first race of the year in the NHRA. So Billy had asked me to substitute drive for him. A deal that they started about 3 or 4 years ago. A lot of international drivers in NHRA Pro Mod. We have representatives from Russia, Canada, the Dominican Republic, Brazil, the Middle East. I'm trying to think if there's anywhere else people come from.
King, North Carolina. So
King, yeah, that also a separate freaking third world. No, never mind. But so Billy asked me to substitute drive, and different from the way a lot of sanctioning bodies do it. They allow actually 3 regular season races. You can have a substitute driver where me, Jason, you, Steve, anybody goes and drives for someone else. The driver that belongs in the car, which was Billy for that race, gets the points, and I get to race. So went to the finals, turned it 3,000 red, and got a runner-up at the Gators. And I was actually pulling out of the gate, ready to jump off a bridge. And Billy called me. He's like, you know, and I'm like, man, I'm sorry. He's like, dude, it happens. We went to the finals. You know, we're second in the points starting the year, but do you want to race some more? And I was like, well, I mean, I'm going to race. You know, I got my primary deal is with Tommy Youmans. And he was like, nah, you want to race some more quarter miles from NHRA? And I was like, I mean, I'd love to, but I can't afford to rent the ride, so sponsorship.
Okay.
And that was where we left it. And I announced that on the Shake and Bake show. And I hit end on the Shake and Bake show, and about 5 minutes later, my phone rang, and it was Mark Stockseth. If you follow NHRA, Stockseth is who sponsors Matt Smith and the motorcycle gang. And then you see Outlaw Beer everywhere. Well, Mark is a big time investor in the Outlaw Beer brand. Was there from startup, from what I understand. And he was like, look, we're trying to push the Outlaw Beer deal. Would you be interested, in representing the brand? This is how much the money came from Mark on Outlaw's behalf. And I'm like, yeah, let me get with Billy. And it worked out that I told him, like, up front, let's fund the regular season, because in NHRA there's a countdown, which we have now started. We had 6 regular season races. We have 5 in the countdown, and the points reset. But you have to qualify for the countdown, and there's 2 ways to do that. Either you run every race of the year of the regular season, or you qualify and finish in the top 10 in the points. Now, if you've ran every race, then you have a better chance of making the top 10 than somebody who did not. So if the top 10 were all full of just people that went to every race, then I would not have had I not accumulated enough points, I would not have made the countdown. But I ran really well the rest of the year. I made the countdown. I went back to Mark, said, hey, I've made the countdown, but what we agreed on. And he was like, no, I want to re-up just like we agreed. And so they paid me again, and it paid me enough to finish out the year and run for a championship. So I finished 8th in the regular season, not getting points in Gainesville. So that qualified me for the top 10, went to the semis at Norwalk, and I think I'm currently 5th, and only like a round and a half or something out of 1st. And just like the World Finals for you guys, Vegas is the last race for us, and it's points and a half. Okay. So you just got to be in striking distance going to Vegas. Then, if you're not leading the points, you basically have to win, right? Or come damn close.
That's the way Billy.
I think he makes all these runs in 50 different cars throughout the year.
It does.
And then you jump into an NHRA car, and then you got to run the long stretch.
Yes.
As I call it.
Yep.
You ever catch yourself there wanting to click it off a day?
I have been guilty of throwing the chutes at 1,000 feet. Huh? Not the 8th and not the quarter. Why? It's like natural. I mean,
you're getting ready for top fuel. That's what you're doing.
Well, yeah. that and those things are 27 or almost 2,800 pounds now and running 250 mile an hour. You better have them out. Yeah. But yes, I have thrown the chutes at 1,000 feet on accident, a couple times. But different from everything else I run. So we are not allowed a delay box in NHRA of any sort, right? I mean, none. You can't spool up 100 foot of phone wire like what's his face did back in the day. There can be no delay. So it makes outlaw racing and NHRA racing, especially back-to-back weekends, really hard, right?
Yeah.
Because
you have to train yourself to see it.
You do. And you have to run a slow button, right? I position my hand different. Yeah. And I have to remember that when I'm staging the NHRA car.
Well, NHRA is about 370 tree, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So that makes it better, right? But if you think about, us that run some delay in the outlaw cars, when I go to outlaw, it's easy, right? I can just go up there and absolutely crush it, and we fix it in the delay box. Well, in the NHRA, you can't miss it because most of those guys are pretty decent, but you can't crush it because you will be red, So it's tough going back and forth. Really, starting line procedure is the biggest thing. I drive a flat hood over there. I drive a flat hood in the PDRA. So all of that procedure is basically the same, but cockpit orientation and kind of what you're doing in there is definitely different to be good in both.
Yeah. And me and you talked at Bristol, and it's delay box has always kind of been one of those things. I run a lot of delay,
Yep.
And a lot of guys run the delay through the fuel tech. I do not. I have my own separate delay box, and I actually look at it and I control it
Yep.
because I've backed up from a procedure of doing a burnout and looked and say, okay, there's shade on the tree, especially somewhere like Virginia or even Bristol when the mountains and the sun changes. And if you can see it good, I may put 5 thou in, or I may back up and say, damn, there's a lot of glare. I better take 5 out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I do.
Yeah.
And you could set up the fuel tank to do that on the dash if you had the way to do it. But
yeah, if you can reach it.
Yeah, if you can reach it.
Yeah. But and that's what got me in Bristol. I was 4. I was 4 beside Randy. I was 1 beside Ty.
Yeah.
Stuffed a bunch in it. Went up there with you. I flickered going in, which I think got both of us.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I felt like I had hit it decent beside you, and it showed. I think I was 29 or 30 to your 26 or something like that. And Lee was like, "Do you think it was flickering the bulb?" I was like, "Man, it about had to be. There's no way that I missed it." And then in the final, I was 1 thou better, 29. And I should have known in the dark. I should have pulled some back out because, in my opinion, you see the tree the best when it is dusk, not quite dark, but not light either. Like that really, really almost just about dark is when I see it the best. And then when it gets nighttime, I can actually roll a little bit back out.
Yeah, that's the
same, right?
And a lot of these tracks we race at have these nice Musco big LEDs, and like somewhere like Galot, dude, it's almost better than daylight at night. It's so bright.
It's bright,
and I lose it at night at Galot in Virginia.
I don't know that I would have.
Between the flat hood and when you're in the screw blow car, you still run a lot of delay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And Elvira, which we have it on big tires right now. We've been testing. Well, we were testing in Pro Extreme trim, which I heard y'all talking about the IHRA before I got on, but we were planning to go run some Outlaw or Extreme over there, and then take the legal car too, and run both classes. And obviously that's not happening. So it'll go back in RVW trim. They do not have Radio versus the World at the Shakedown. They do have Pro 275, which is the same weekend as Indy, but
you talk about Yellow Bullet.
Yeah, it's Cecil. Sorry.
Yeah.
Travis is going to sub drive for me at Yellow Bullet in the Pro 275 car because I think I'm 3rd in the points there and only like a half a round out of first. We're leading the points in Radio versus the World, and the next race and last race of the year for that will be at South Georgia for No Mercy. But we're going to run. I got a grudge race with Bubba Stanton at Swan Fest, which is the week of St. Louis.
Exactly. I was going to say, how are you going to do that?
So Lee and I are going to go to Rockingham on Thursday night, grudge race, Bubba Stanton, hop on a plane either that night or really early Friday morning, fly to St. Louis. And then Travis is going to drive the car in Outlaw or Extreme Pro Mod at Swan Fest while we're in.
That was a big thing me and Justin talked about because I forgot St. Louis was that same weekend because, I got a lot of crew that go over and help over there. So it's going to put me shorthanded dealing with the NHRA stuff. But the extreme stuff's kind of taken off. Well, just because we got a lot of loud mouths talking about it too on the internet.
So. Well, and the IHRA breathed a lot of life back into that class. They gave them somewhere to race. The extreme style pro mod stuff, there was just a few places you could do that throughout the year, and it was at some tracks that maybe you wouldn't necessarily want to do that, go 340s or 350s.
It was big in Texas, big in Texas.
Yeah. And so it was nice to see some of that come back. I hated to see it come back strong. People built cars, bought equipment. Billy Banaka, for instance, he bought a 3rd car. That was going to be specific for that, and now literally just doesn't have anywhere to race it.
Crazy.
But, you're starting to see or hear some rumor of some sanctioning bodies picking it up, possibly the Midwest. You've heard some rumblings about it in the PDRA. Justin Swanstrom's added it. And I think that you'll see some racetracks do some quick 8 style shootout stuff where no rules, bring a pro mod with doors on it, and come run, dual power adders, anything goes, and I hope it does. It's really good racing. It's freaking fast. And there's some really cool hot rods out there. Frankie Taylor's probably got one of the most iconic Pro Extreme cars in that old Corvette that he's had forever, and to see that thing come out and still run deep in the 350s is cool,
Old school.
There's a handful of those really good cars out there, and I would love to see somewhere for them to run, once a month or 3 or 4 times a year would be cool.
Which one's easier to drive out of all of them?
Yes.
Man, I think when they're fast, that I don't know that there's necessarily one that is easier. From a visibility standpoint, obviously the flat hood is the easiest thing to see out of. But if the car was either built for you or built for a driver of your size, if it was used and bought later, and you can get positioned in the seat right, even looking around the screw blower, I don't think it's an issue either way.
Radial scare the shit out of me because no wheelie bar. Like, you've seen me stand a few of them up. So, I mean, I just don't, that's kind of the thing. Like, I don't think I'm fast enough to catch it. Like, I mean, I know I'm fast enough to catch it, but I'm just not used to it. So it would raise up like, what the hell is this thing doing by then? I mean, atmosphere.
Yeah, and then you get the pogo stick, right? That thing compresses the front shock about the time you stab the throttle, and it's twice as high as it was the pedal before.
Yeah. See, that scares me because I'm used to the wheels being up for a long way, so I wouldn't want to let out of the wheels are up with.
You don't want the wheels up on those things.
No, correct.
Now the radial stuff is the easiest to drive, right? I mean, those things, they either go or they don't, and with the exception of the really fast ones, kind of darting around some. Especially when the lockups are on and off in that little tire, they don't really do a whole lot. They don't do a lot of moving around. If they are moving around, you need to lift because you're going to wreck it. But, the big tire stuff, they're trying not to make the run the entire run, right?
Yeah.
Especially the first 200 feet. So you got to do a lot of driving on the big tires to the 330 for sure. After that, if you're still having to drive it hard, refer back to the radial stuff. It's time to quit. Those things will be on their lid. But as far as power adder wise, I mean, they all run so good now, man. I don't know that I could choose one. Whichever one is available and whichever one's the fastest is the one I want to drive.
There you go. Yeah, I figured
That's
that.
a true driver statement right there.
Yeah. So
let's ask you something, Lyle. You hit on it earlier with the IHRA a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thought on all that? I mean, obviously the racers took the biggest hit. It was great it brought a lot of life into the pro modified, really, in all the different classes, but then poof, gone.
Yep. I mean, if you sum it up with one word, it's unfortunate, but, I'm not going to lie, for a little bit, I was a believer that, man, I think that this has got, it's the rate at which it was growing was a little bit far-fetched, right? And obviously, we were all right about that. But people were getting paid. This is in the beginning now. People were getting paid. The money was real. You were starting to see what I liked the most was to see some of the bottom feeder, top fuel, and funny car teams have somewhere good to come and compete, because like your Scott Palmers, your Lex Junes, Dale Worsham's got a really good program, but he's a mid-packer in the NHRA, and to come over there and really show some dominance, right? Paul Lee's got a top-tier program, came over there and ran good. It was cool to see some life breathe back into the lower-funded or self-funded top fuel and funny car teams.
They were doing good too, man. I mean, they really like, if you watch the last race or so, dude, they were making lap after lap after lap.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know that it's definitely cheaper to go run 8th mile, but they were, and from what I understand, the majority of them weren't hurting parts like you would think they would be.
Yeah.
You would think that it was just like when they backed NHRA up from 1/4 mile to 1,000 feet. Oh, it's going to be safer and save parts. No, it doesn't. They figure out how to hurt them. And with a long enough run, and if they kept paying that kind of money, it would have ended up the same way in the 8th mile. They'd have figured out how to blow them up at 590 feet, right? But, for the Pro Mod deal, it was cool to see the big money And that's, where all the attention came from. Anybody can say what they want to. The payouts is what got the googly eyes about it. And we went to a couple, had a good time, had at one point decided that we may chase a championship this year. And then obviously decided not to when things started getting a little hairy. But it's just the racers. Yes, I agree. They took a big hit. But these racetracks and the areas around them that maybe somewhat economically depended on the racetrack to bring in, for those things to be sitting idle now, with absolutely zero plan or idea of what's going to happen in the future is scary.
Yeah.
Piedmont's very dear to Jason and is to me as well. It's my local track. Won my first drag race ever there in 2007. And that one probably hurts me the most. There's all these rumors about the uncertainty of the future of Galat, right?
Yeah.
I've heard some things that absolutely aren't good, but we're not here to spread rumors.
Yes.
Maple Grove, right? That place is freaking iconic, but Koretsky's brought that thing from the depths of hell and made it a really nice place. And what's going to happen there? There's so many, we could go on and on about individual racetracks, but I just hope that at least most of them find a way to become a racetrack again. If they go to auction, right, like Jason said, odds are that the people that run the bid up on those things and buy them probably have zero interest in keeping them a racetrack.
That's what I'm afraid of.
So then the people that say, oh, they're going to turn into data centers like we've been saying forever. I would say that's probably not true for most of them, but I wouldn't doubt it at all that one of those doesn't end up one. I would say that the ones that get bought up by developers are going to end up being housing developments or industrial parks. And it just freaking sucks, man. When drag racing you felt like was on this nice, steady upward trajectory, the NHRA comes along. Some people thought it was doing this, other people thought it was doing this. And now it's a black eye no matter how you look at it. And we continue on, and I don't know that there's necessarily a recovery to be made. But
Pro Modified still healthy with
very
PDRA and NHRA and Midwest. And
I think me and Lyle take it a little bit gut punch because North Carolina has the most racetracks per square mile other than probably Texas. But you can only run our type of car at probably 4 of them, 5 of them at most. And we just lost 2 of them. Yeah. We haven't lost Galat yet, but it's not looking good. The community at Galat they were not happy when Earl did what he did. He took it from a backwoods kind of outlaw track and he made it into this great thing that we have now. But earlier this year, they had that farmer down there plowing his field in the middle of the day, just stirring up dust to throw dust on there just because they don't want the drag strip there. And that's farming country. Piedmont's probably a little different situation because it's been there so long, but it's laying so dormant now that who knows? You might have to go back in front of the planning board, the zoning board, or whatever, and getting that passed nowadays. That'd be impossible.
Well, it's the growth around it that scares me, right? That big super mega site that they built for the Toyota battery deal, which they built like their own freaking town and stuff. Chatham Park really is not that far, and that would be kind of a bridge between the two. That's what scares me the most. It's not far from the interstate, and near that mega site. It would make a damn good something else, right?
Yeah, that's the big thing. Growth around racetracks is not good for racetracks.
And truthfully, here's the truth: they really don't want that much for Piedmont. It's just what it's going to take to turn it back into that. Right. There's been a lot of talk about this, that, but buying the racetrack is the easy part.
Very.
Sustaining it, if you have Galat, because that's a big facility, or repairing it and rebuilding Piedmont is the biggest problem.
Yeah.
So you gotta be willing to throw away $3 to $5 million.
Yeah.
And throw it away. I'm not talking about you're not going to gain some money back, but you're never going to see a return other than the land investment itself.
No. And that's what I was going to say next. Is that you're right. It's $3 to $5 million to fix it. You're not going to get that back, right?
No.
Not in the foreseeable future, you know.
No.
So then it's somebody that's just flat passionate enough about that and what we do to do it, you know. And then, but on the flip side, you know, if somebody does do that, it is 100% up to me, Jason, and the people that live around there to go and support the place so that they remotely feel like that they have made the right call. Buying this racetrack and keeping it a racetrack was the right idea, because we packed this place out on a Thursday night. We made $15,000 at the gate, and we're good to go for next week. You know, and it's really hard to do these days.
This is the way I feel too. And this is, and I'm very guilty of this. If I hear someone bitch about what happened at a racetrack as far as the show, or if we didn't finish on time, or they didn't do this right, or they didn't do right, you better be grateful to have the damn places nowadays. After this scare, you better be damn glad we've got a place to go to.
Right.
You know, just a simple testing too. How many times you took beer money to Piedmont just because you guys changed something, you want to try something?
A bunch. And then, you know, they do that Tuesday drive-by deal I've been to, you know, like, and I'm guilty of not supporting it earlier this year with beer money. In fact, I haven't had beer money off the jacks since October of last year. I just don't have time. Got 2 kids, you know, and racing a bunch elsewhere. But, you know, I had plans to go there and
you
run
have a
some testing
legitimate
too.
excuse as much as you're racing.
Well, that's true.
You have a legitimate excuse, but all the bitching like you're talking comes from right here on the computer.
It does.
It's the keyboard warriors who ain't coming racing anyway.
And it's always the negative, right? I mean, this is nothing new. It's the same thing if somebody goes to a restaurant and has a bad experience. You go to a restaurant with the expectation that somebody's going to cook your food, cook it right, bring it on time. It's going to be good, and you're going to go home. Nobody ever talks about it. But I'll be damned if you don't go there and service is bad, food's bad. You know, that's the first thing you do is go write a Google review about it. You know,
bro, I'm in that business. You ain't got to tell me. I can change oil 100 times in somebody's car, but that one time my guy forgets to put a sticker in the car, you know, they're gonna write a Google review on. I'm a motherfucker, you know.
Yeah, and it's the same way at the racetrack, you know. But you know, us three are in a position where I think we can help with some of this. And I'm working on that with Mark Beatty to do something within the PDRA. We have to do a better job of getting the younger generation interested in what we do. We do such a poor job at it, and I'm guilty of it. Y'all were both guilty of it. You know, we do such a terrible job at finding ways to make what we do interesting and get kids off of these computers and off of their phones and put a wrench in their hand instead of a video game remote. You know, and it's hard, man. It is. It's hard. I work with the high school that I went to, Northmore, which I now live just a mile from where I grew up. So I'm within, why is my thing blurry? I live close to my high school, and I'm working directly with their automotive program. I take a race car up there a couple times a year. I've had a group of 50 kids come to Rockingham to an event one time, actually Swan Fest last year. Working on a deal to do similar to what the YES program is to the NHRA within the PDRA. And because if we can get the younger generation interested in what we are doing at this level, right? Like, this is professional drag racing. This is what you could do. And then they leave there and they go home and they say, okay, what's the closest drag strip to me? And when do they have test and tunes? Or, you know, when can I take, it doesn't even matter what you drive. Just go cut the freaking air conditioner off, put that thing in the water box, and go make a run. You know what I mean? But we have to get these kids interested in what we're doing, because I tell this story all the time. When I started Heads Up Racing when I was 17 years old, I was one of the youngest, if not the youngest, at the racetrack in the driver's seat of anyone else in the class, right? For the most part, that's still the case today.
100%.
35, right? There are a few. You've got Ethan Stedding, Preston Tanner.
But ones that are not born into it. That's the difference.
Right.
I was born into it. You were kind of born into it. So you got to get somebody that's not born into it. You got to get the guy that doesn't. think it's feasible for him to come out there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I
And
think me and Jason do a little bit of this, not bring people in from the racetrack, but we do a lot with the junior dragster racers at PDRA when we're there, right?
Right.
Those guys you see Jason, the world champ, up there with the junior dragster guys, and those guys' eyes get big. Some of them that that just there just because of him.
And showing the kids that are at the racetrack and actively racing some attention and letting them know that, hey, we're paying attention to what you're doing. That does make them feel good, make them strive to be better drivers and and better kids. Staying out of trouble. Man, if I want to come to the racetrack, I got to keep my grades up. That is all. Yes, we need to be doing that. But we also need to be speaking to and gaining interest from the kids who may not ever go to the racetrack if we don't go to their school and give them free tickets and bring them to the track, right?
Yeah, I get it.
Now, and we have to we're in a terrible spot right now, the future of the sport. What's going on now is great. But 20 years from now, it looks really scary if you look over your shoulder at who's coming behind us, right? Yeah. And you see that, especially at the crew chief level, right? Jason and I share a crew chief or a tuner, right?
Yeah.
Lee White and Brandon Stroud. I'm just trying to run through Jeff Pierce,
Savage,
Ty, Kyle, Pettis,
Robbie.
Yep.
Evan. Yeah.
There's
nobody. Just talk about crew guys. Try to find a crew guy.
Yeah. Now the difference, though, right, is that we can go find some of these kids that at a high school are very interested in what we're doing and bring them to the track. And over the course of about 3 or 4 races, you can train up a pretty good back half guy, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Who can then, if they're willing to work and willing to scrape wheel tubs and clean wheelie bars and check tire pressure, if they're willing to work, they can end up on the front half, and then become a fairly decent paid, front half guy. They're not going to have a life outside of that if they want to be good at it. But, that there is a pathway to there, but the pathway to being a tuner, right, is a much longer road. And it just takes a left brain type person these days. You have to be excellent on a computer. And got to be a fairly smart person. That's why I'm not a tuner and a driver. I'm an idiot.
I think they got to be a little bit of a mechanic as well. They
do. Well, they have to understand it bumper to bumper, and there's something like Steve Petty. I still to this day say there's nobody that knows a race car from bumper to bumper like that man, and he has got some great ones behind him. Brandon Stroud, probably top 3 in the world, to tune one. Lee White, same thing, knows them bumper to bumper. If he, knows what to do, if it's going out there not making good runs, he'll slide up under it, make a 4-link change. If we're chasing an engine problem, he is calling the shots and knows exactly what to do to fix that, right? And then all the electronics and everything in between. And I mean, it's just what you have to know to be a crew chief is
right. And these guys coming up, just like you said, like with me, I have John, and then you got Evan behind him, who's grew up in it.
Evan's going to be good.
And Evan makes a lot of calls on Mel's car, because I've seen that from day one. I mean, I think John's kind of turned it over and let Evan make some calls on that, which in turn helps our generation get where it needs to be. But if you look back at just the generational thing that we have, I look at the kids that I have to hire in the shop today, and they're not in it, man. They're not, there's no gearheads left.
Well, just like Lyle said earlier, Evan is in the family, so he don't know anything else. Right. That's what he grew up doing, just like you did, born into it. We need that guy, like you guys were saying, like the local school, whether it's the ag class comes on a field trip to the racetrack, or the local whatnot shows up in a school bus with a load of them. I mean, I agree with all that.
There's 10 guys in my hometown, 10 or 15 guys in my hometown that within 4-year age gap that are true gearheads, always have been since we were in high school. They're all mechanics now. They're all good. We just don't see that as much now. And it's our fault. I mean, not our fault, but us as a society, because we quit. It's too easy. Number one, finding out that information's too easy. Nobody wants to get their hands dirty and get burnt and stuff anymore. So, but the same can be said for a lot of things, doctors, and it just trickles down. And to keep our sport going, like when you said that, dude, what am I? I'm a mile from Northwood, where I went to high school with. Why can't I go over there to the automotive program and do that? And I've never even thought of it. I've
Yep.
done it with Chapel Hill, but I've never done it here.
Yep.
Yep.
And it'd be something if, each racetrack, a close local school, like you said, if you did it with
Yep.
the PDRA or NHRA does something similar to that, I
Yep.
think you said.
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away yet because we're
Mhm.
still working on it, but that is what we're working on,
awesome.
something where schools local to the racetrack. It's just like the YES program in the NHRA. The YES program there, kids, they go on, or the teachers, whatever, go on, they sign these kids up for it, register them for the event. They have a seminar that morning. They bus them in, and I went to the one at ZMAX. Two local high schools to me went, and they have a seminar. They talk to them for that particular one. Bob Tasca was there representing Ford, and then Ron Capps was up there representing Napa. And then after the seminar, they pretty much cut them loose, right? Go to the pits. Every ticket, just like at PDRA, at the NHRA, is a pit pass. I brought the two high schools that were local to me to my pit. We fired the cars up, gave them all of the used parts we had, and they got to see us make a run that day. And that's what we've got to do. It's what all the sanctioning bodies need to be doing. If you do not get, if it's not free to get in, you'll never get them there ever. Their parents aren't going to pay for them to go take them and either be with them or leave them there all day, and so we have to make it free for one, and we've got to make it entertaining and get these kids excited about what we're doing, and I hope that if we could get this program into the PDRA, I would love to see a handful of drivers volunteer to have split these classes up. So you've got a more concentrated group to go, take a girls group and put them with Melanie, and a girls group and put them with Amber Franklin, and, and then take several groups of guys and put one in your pit, Jason, and one in your pit, Steve, and one in my pit, and let them be a part, not just stand outside the ropes.
Yes.
Be a part of it. Get your hands dirty.
Wear a shirt that you don't mind getting the back of it dirty and lay down on this pit mat. Like, let's get under here and take a look at what we're doing, and let them wear a crew shirt, or, get them excited so that next week they want to go to test and tune at their local racetrack, and they are constantly checking for when the PDRA, the NHRA, the Midwest, whoever is going to have an event so they can go back and watch some pro mods. Like, we have got to do a better job, because we have what's behind us is thin.
I agree.
Thin.
If you look on social media, and let's just say if you open up your Facebook and you're any drag race follower whatsoever, there's only a handful of people who really stand out on social media, and it seems like it's always the same people over and over again. There's a lot of drivers that drive with us who don't post anything about anything they do.
And it's free.
Nothing.
It's free.
Nothing.
And I get a lot of the, if you walk through the pits at a PDRA race, the Pro Mod, Pro Nitrous, and Pro Boost specifically, and it goes for any class really, but I'll talk about those two: business owner, business owner, business owner, business owner, right? Like, they're all business owners. So outside, they are playing golf. Most of them, I'm not saying all of them, but most of them are playing golf when they're at the racetrack. This is their hobby, right? So outside of that, it is their job and their family, and they're not worried about the rest of it because they don't have to, right? But there are a lot of young kids out there. Jess, who's the backbone of this show, Jax, Hayden Raymond, Corey Stamper. There's a bunch of media outlets out there who will handle all of this for you. Monique Ambrosi, right? Like
Kyle,
if you, and it's dumb not to have a dedicated Lyle Barnett racing page, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's free.
It's free.
I handle all, for the most part. Now, I do pay somebody at the racetrack to capture content for me, right? Hayden Raymond, excellent job. Jess has done some stuff for me. Jax does it for Tommy Youmans. And you. Pay these. It's not super expensive, right? And these kids are hungry. Like, they're trying to make a living out here showing off what we do. Pay them a little bit to get you some content. And if you don't have time to run the page, pay them to run your page. Let them do it, right?
I get as much back on Facebook that it almost pays for itself
Yep.
now because I've got. It took me a little while to get there, but it's just.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but even me, like for years, I didn't do any of that. Like
That's because you're old.
I am old because it was beyond
But
me.
even my dad's 73 years old. He's on Facebook 24/7.
But it just made such a huge difference. I never realized it until 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and then the last 3 really, that how important this is.
Yes.
There's a lot of guys that have great personalities and have great race teams that do not publish themselves out there.
Yes.
And it's not just we're not boosting ourselves. Obviously, I think that's what it looks like, but we're promoting the sport. We're getting people, if it goes to one level above somebody who doesn't know anything about, like who's this Lyle Barnett, who's Jason Harris, if they click on it and it might bring a spark of interest, well, I'm gonna go, check it out, do that kind of thing. So,
yep. And at a bare minimum, if it sells a T-shirt,
we're good.
Dang.
We're good.
Exactly. Good.
I mean, I've seen such a huge deal with it. Even this podcast, you guys do a great podcast.
You guys do a great podcast. Yeah.
How big a difference? I mean, obviously I got this on my little list of questions here, but I'm just saying, how big a difference in your racing deal, bringing the other cars in, is the social media side of it?
Unbelievable. Like the Shake and Bake show, which we're on tomorrow night. For those I'm sure a lot of y'all's viewers watch us, and a lot of our viewers watch y'all. We are on tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern. But when we started the Shake and Bake show, it was gaining some traction, and then it blew up and got fairly big. And now, if I'm at the racetrack, I could not tell you the last time I was at the racetrack and I did not hear, whether I was riding by in the car or on a scooter, and somebody Shake and Bake, and Erica talks about it all the time. Her and Courtney will be together, if they're riding a golf cart or something. And you're talking about a 6-time world champion, one of the best to ever drive a pro stock car, and the fans are yelling Shake and Bake at Courtney. Like, it's wild, man. But it's cool that that people think enough of us and want to listen to our retarded selves get on here, a couple nights.
And it's hard.
It is hard.
It's hard. People think it's easy. Just get on here and spill your guts. Well, number one, you try not to piss off the world by saying the wrong thing.
Yep.
But then you got to have content. You want to have people engaged, and we want to talk about the race. We don't want to get on here and just recap every race we go to, because people watch it and they know what's going on. But we want to talk about interesting things. And I think you guys have a different level of it because you got a different aspect between Stevie and Courtney. But then, got me and him, and we try to get people on here and talk about life things like what we're talking about right now, like trying to get stuff on there.
Yeah. It's, and to be good and to have a successful social media platform, it takes a lot if you want it to be good, right? And I don't do a great job, consistent posting, multiple times a week. It's really better if it's every day, right? It's a
hard.
lot, and it is. And, you run a business. Dad and I run Mac Fab. Steve's got his deal, and it's, by the end of the day, you're like, God, man, I need to create a reel, or but you have to do it, man. And it's time consuming a little bit, but it makes a huge difference.
It does. And speaking of Mac Fab, so for those of you who don't know, Lyle runs a wheel beadlocking company. It kind of came about through Tommy Kurt. A good friend of them, who started, because you couldn't get beadlocks for 15-inch wheels for radials.
Not 20 years ago when we started.
No, not 20 years. So they developed this crazy machine that cuts the lip off and welds it back on there. And man, you want to talk about business? It has exploded.
Yeah, it's so it started 20 years ago. And when it started, it was just a side hustle Tommy was doing in his shop at his house. Right.
Yeah.
He had the rings made somewhere else. They had kind of made a cutter, which we've obviously improved that exponentially over the years.
It looked like a wheel balancer that they had modified.
It did. They didn't cut it off with a side grinder, but it was close.
It was.
Like Jason said, there wasn't a 15-inch beadlock really that you could even buy at that time. And radio racing was really in its infancy. And when it took off,
we were putting screw beads in them.
Yep. Still, and you could still buy the freaking rim screw kits off of Jegs or Summit. But for the love of God, just send them to me and get $800 worth of beadlocks. Let's move on with life here. But when radio racing, the track prep was getting better, the tires were getting better. There was a need for beadlocks. Tommy just started doing it on the side. That turned into hiring one person to do it full time. They moved the shop to another location. And over the next 15 years before we bought it, it became, a household name, right? Yep. People would call now one of the bigger parts of our business is selling new wheels. So, you don't have to call Weld, Sanders, or Billet Specialties and buy a beadlock wheel from them. Most of the time you can save money to the tune of several $100s, sometimes $300 a wheel, if you buy the wheel non-beadlock from the manufacturer and send it to me for beadlocks. Nothing wrong with the beadlocks that come from those companies, but we've obviously had to spend a little more time developing the best beadlock to make it worth you sending your stuff to me, right? So
it's just the small things, like you can get Savage on your beadlock.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
yep.
The knurls on the inside that hold the tire, that was a big issue a couple of years ago with some of the bigger tires. They made these wheels that didn't have the knurl on the inside that really hold it. And we were getting some, slippage and stuff. It's just a lot of things they've changed that have made the wheel. And we don't think, wheel's a wheel. Oh shit, it's the light. You think about 6,000 horsepower back there.
It's all dependent on that.
Yep.
And your dad's a big part of the business, right?
He is. Yeah. He's, he bought it. So I guess, dad owns it. And he's there day to day. When he sold his engineering firm, which was across the street from Jason's shop.
Yeah.
I think his plan was probably not to work a whole lot.
Wrong.
Retire. And, I went to school and got a civil engineering degree, in hopes that I was going to go work for my dad's civil engineering firm. Then he sold it. And while I was happy for him, part of me was like,
thanks, Dad.
What am I going to do now? Right. I'm going to have to go work. And Dad was like, nah, man, we'll figure something out. We'll either start something new or do something. And the Mac Fab deal, it all happened around the same time. It was really odd. Everything happens for a reason, but, so we bought it. Dad did. And, he has had to work every day just to keep it all going. There's 4 of us there full time. And I really need to hire some people, but like Jason was saying earlier, the pool of people who want to come and do what we do is it's thin, man. Yep. And it's really hard to find. So we're just cruising on the way we are. But
and Mark's you guys have done a great job, because his dad, Mark, is a very good businessman. Always has been. Had a very successful engineering firm across the street from me, spent many lunch days with him. But then you've got Lyle, who's probably one of the best salesmen, because that ever was, really truthfully, because he was big social media. He had Beer Money was coming out real big. He'd been on TV. Lyle's not just known for his accident. He's known for what he's done,
right,
in the drag racing world. And they've taken it to the next level. And you got to come check it out. You can go to their Facebook page. You can go to their YouTube stuff. They show a lot of things. They've done donks. They've done motorcycle wheels.
Yep. We've done I've beadlocked a 32-inch wheel. And dude, the hoop in there that we cut off is freaking unbelievable. We did when the donk racing came along, we were doing 26s and 24s fairly often. That's kind of fallen off. But we can beadlock anything from an 8-inch, a junior dragster wheel, all the way up to a 32-inch wheel technically, but and anything in between. I have 6 different beadlock ring designs. I have 6 different anodized color options. We do custom powder coating. Anything in regards to the wheel, we can handle. I've got a knurler that, because not everybody can get a double beadlock, so we can just do the knurling, titanium bolt upgrades and ARP stuff. Anything in regards to the wheel we've got, but I stock mainly Sanders stuff. They're one of the only that still make everything here in the States, which to most of us that matters. But I'm a dealer for Weld, a dealer for Billet Specialties, RC Components, Kaiser. You name it, we're a dealer for them. We can just really beadlock whatever. We've done some cool stuff. Beadlock the world, baby. Motorcycle wheels, factory Hayabusa stuff, off-road side-by-sides, tractor pulling stuff. Man, we've beadlocked all kind of shit. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And you guys do all that. That brings me into the question I know here. It's getting through. We've been here a little bit, but safety. Mm-hmm. Beadlock is obviously a safety thing, but with everything you've been through, these pro modified cars, where are we at with the safety aspect? Do you feel like we're, obviously way far advanced than we was?
Yeah, I think we're in a good spot. There's a lot of really good companies that make really nice stuff. I wear Stand 21 suit, Stand 21 gloves and shoes. Theirs is, in my opinion, I have not worn the OMP suit yet, but in my opinion, their stuff is the most comfortable. It is the most low profile in their 20 stuff, because that's what we all have to wear in the blown alcohol stuff. But I wear a Bell helmet, which is through the OMP, the race court group, whatever. God, I can't remember the name of that place. But I think we're in a pretty good spot as far as what's available. I still, unfortunately, see people not taking advantage of what is available. It's all there, man. Like there's been tons of R&D. Companies have spent huge money to develop this really nice safety stuff. And I still, and you see people try to blame the racetracks and the tech department and whatnot, and I made this post a while back, which had some back and forth on what people agreed with, but it is still our responsibility as drivers to wear what we are supposed to be wearing. And if nothing else, putting a dollar value on your life is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Oh man, that stuff's too expensive. Well, what's your life worth? Right? Like, I mean, I can tell you, like, I wasn't wearing the gloves I was supposed to be wearing. I had my face shield up, this is all a face graft. This is a skin graft. My hands are completely graft. My feet are completely graft. And that's all because I was not wearing, even then, what was available. I was just wearing what was comfortable and cheap and easy, right? And I paid for it, almost the ultimate price. But a lot of us learned a lot. The sport as a whole became safer because of my accident, which is good, but it also goes to show right back to what I was getting at. It made it better, and it made it, kind of at the forefront of everybody's priorities in their racing program. But it also shows you how unprepared the majority of our sport was in the first place, right? The night that I got burnt, there was a vendor there that had head socks and sold out that night. That's awesome. A lot of people with head socks. Also means there were a lot of people without them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't wearing one,
I wear one and
a skirt.
And a skirt. Yeah.
As do I.
Yeah,
Yep. And we're not required to do that, right? If
No,
you have a
no.
skirt, you're not required a head sock. If you have a head sock, you're not required a skirt. And most of us, I would say, most everybody has a skirt on their helmet. And I would think most people probably wear a head sock. Most of the people I see do. But the stuff is expensive, but so is everything else that we have.
Yeah, but
look at
I mean, look at what we're buying and what we're doing. I mean, At the end of the day, you really could probably outfit yourself for $5,000 to $6,000.
You could.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm talking about best of the best.
Yeah.
Not talking about junk.
Right.
I mean,
and you can spend
a $500,000 rig, we can buy the safety stuff.
But and that's the thing, man. By the time even beer money type cars get to the racetrack, there's let's go on an average. There's a $30,000 to $40,000 pickup truck to pull a $20,000 enclosed trailer, which has $10,000 worth of tools and $40,000 or $50,000 worth of race car. My quick math tells me we're already over 100, right?
Yeah.
In most cases, I get it. Some people are like,
And
hell no, man, I got a $10,000 Silverado and an open trailer, and my car didn't cost me $20,000, whatever. But still,
don't think it can't happen. Don't think it can't happen to you.
It's not a matter of if, it's when, right?
Yeah. I don't care what you drive.
Find yourself in a situation where the safety equipment that is there and available is needed. And for the love of God, you're much better off having it, not needing it, than needing it, not having it, and,
get in a situation like Block this weekend, it's been blamed on Armco, you know what I'm saying? The guardrails, and I will not race at a track that has guardrails.
No,
I just will not do it.
And honestly, and Godspeed to Block. I got to know him fairly well over the years. I've ran and won a bunch of his events, and he did what he could, to get those races off. It wasn't always heavily supported, but he had some awesome races. And him and his wife did a really good job, and it's such a tragic deal, that we lost him over the weekend. But that's the problem with that style of racing. right? You know, I did it for years, man. I mean, I won $250,000 with beer money in the course of like 3 years. And most of that was some cash day stuff, you know, but most of it was ran at these backwoods sketchy racetracks because it was no prep, right? And you can't go to a really good racetrack and have a really good no prep event. It just turns into a horsepower shootout, right? So you go to these places like Brown County, Indiana. You know, Block was unfortunately killed at KD over the weekend. All these are really cool racetracks, man. You know, they are, but you're right. You know, the guardrail stuff, no guardrails or anything at all at some of these, you know, at the top end, just
I don't know if I would just rather not have no guardrail than I would the guardrail.
But, you know, it's, golly, man, it's so tough because these small time racetracks are dependent on these style events, you know, to keep the gates open. And they're popular, man. They are because they're relatable. The cars that come and race those things are relatable. It's why beer money has been such a big part of my career, really, and definitely my success, is that is an achievable race car for most, right? Like I could build beer money again for less than 50 grand, right? And I get that's still a bunch of money, but you're talking about a car that can run deep in the fours, right?
Yeah.
Now I've got really good help. Pete Harrell, one of the best to tune a turbo LS, you know, stuff. You know, so we got the most out of what beer money is, which isn't a lot, but you know, that is achievable. And these people like coming and seeing, you know, that, man, that's the same IROC that my dad drove to high school, or, you know, or whatever. You know, I was conceived in the backseat of one of those Nova wagons, you know.
They don't go to Brown County to watch side-by-side racing.
No.
That's what's sad.
Nope. Not the majority of those people are going there to see one pile it up, you know.
Yep.
But it's no different than NASCAR, right? You don't go watch the Coca-Cola 600 and hope that nobody crashes,
you know,
right? Like, I mean, it's coming out of turn 4 at Talladega. Everybody wants to see.
It's just that type of racing. It's just that type of racing.
It is.
But the cars have gotten so fast too.
That's another thing. Yep.
You know, every car, not just Pro Mod. I'm talking about every car. You can buy horsepower.
When I'd say when he started beer money, and even when I had my little S10, if you ran 580s on street, Bo, you were flying. You know, 530s. Now these guys are running, you know, mid 4s on street stuff. So
for sure.
Yeah, you know, so but you're right, it's gotten so fast, and that's all thanks to technology and you know, these companies having the means to develop these badass parts. And you know, we're making ridiculous amounts of horsepower. You know, you think about Dustin Hart and Hart's Charger.
Don't talk about that. Steve gets upset.
He'll be all right.
I like me some Dustin.
Hit that button again, Steve. You can come back whenever.
Get off it now. Dustin's good shit. Now, obviously, his stuff is top of the line product. We can see the performance show. It shows.
Yep. I mean, you know, Pro Charger was the only game in town, you know, and Dustin came along and he had a tough go at it there for a minute. There were some growing pains that probably would have knocked most people out of the development stage of something like this, a part like this, you know. But he kept his head down, you know, and now they are, you know, a contender, a direct contender with Pro Charger, has forced Pro Charger's hand to develop new stuff and come out with better stuff, you know, and it's really cool to see.
That's what PSI needs. PSI needs some competition.
They do, you know, competition. Like Stevie says, competition breeds innovation.
There you go.
And it's been cool to see. You know, I'm fortunate enough to get to drive a car with both power adders represented. Tommy Youmans stuff, clean title. The Pro Boost car has a Hart's Charger. Our Pro 275 car salvage title has a Hart's Charger and is also the current world record holder in that class. And then the NHRA car I drive for Billy Banaka has the Pro Charger.
That's right.
You know, and both great pieces, both run really good. You know, and it's cool to see all that going on. You know, so
I think with even what Jason's done all season, obviously he's dominated.
Yeah.
You know,
until I ran into Lyle.
Until you ran into Lyle, but
it happens.
The most part of the season. But even the other Hart's Charger cars had to go home and go to work.
They did,
right, to catch up. So it's not just the screw blown side. I'm just talking here out of the side pocket, but once again, it's innovation. But we got to put the work in to keep up.
Yep. Yeah. Well, you know, and now there's constant change in the rules and trying to find and maintain this magic word we call parity. You know, and PSI and the screw blower guys are in a bit of a weird situation where there's not really there's no development or R&D allowed. Now, I don't know if PSI has even tried. I don't know those guys at all, you know, but
I think Noonan has. They came out with that billet.
Trying some stuff.
Yep. And then, but on mine and Jason's side, right, we're constantly getting updated units, right? You know, they're changing wheels, they're changing housings. You know, we're trying different gear sets in both the gear drives and the blowers, and you know, so it's a constant battle, you know, to try and maintain that when we have a new unit every other race, right? You know, but it may make another 100 horsepower. I mean, I don't know, you know, but all that makes a difference. So it would be nice to see something on the screw blower side come about that pushes the envelope a little bit and forces either PSI to, you know, shit or get off the pot or whatever.
A screw blower is one of the last 2 races.
Well, you know, and they're talking about doing all these crazy rule changes in the NHRA, and I mean to the tune of going to a smaller blower, and which they need to take some weight off of us. We go to the starting line now at the SFI max at 2,800, right?
That's crazy.
So you know, I think that
NHRA rules are way out there anyway. They had the gayest rules I've ever seen.
They are, and you know, and God, man, we could just snowball into, you know, they've got this outlaw street class, right? You know, and they outrun us or have been to the 8th, and people are like, oh, he's stock body street cars, you know. But man, if you could dive into the rule book and understand how neutered the NHRA cars, just compared to the Pro Boost cars, like you're going to see at Galat for the PDRA this weekend, how neutered they are.
526.
Yep, 521.
Yeah, 521.
Yep.
136 Chargers. Can't turn it more than 162. 410 rear. Yeah, 410 rear, and it can't run over 10,000 RPM.
And any boosted anything but a nitrous car has to run a 3-speed non-lockup. Right.
That's right.
You know, the nitrous cars can run 5 speeds in a lockup, but they're talking about making all these changes to get some weight off of us. You know, and the screw blowers have won, I think, an equivalent amount of races that the centrifugals have this year. You know, it's been a pretty even split, but
we're 30 pounds off at PDRA.
Yeah.
I think you take 30 pounds off of us, I think it equalizes back out. I think in the cold weather, I think you're going to see good cars go fast no matter what.
Yep.
But I think if you look at data versus data, I think we're 30 pounds away at PDRA.
Yeah, they neutered us pretty hard after we all showed out at Darlington.
Right.
Yeah. But it was one race. It was a knee-jerk reaction. It was stupid.
Well, that and the conditions were absolutely ridiculous, you know. But
we can get into that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be the rules guy.
No.
You said that. Quit being a little girl
shit,
about
but
it.
I'm not the rules guy. I don't look at every ounce of data out there and whatnot in comparison. It's tough. This team has this. This team has this. You've got guys that run hearts that are different than what you run. So
screws were blowing shit up left and right, and then all of a sudden they're running just as fast as they were, and now they ain't blowing shit up left and right.
So once again, you push the envelope, so everyone else has to push the envelope. I think that from the top teams on, you have to, whether we got to catch up or you catch whoever. I think the weather plays a part in all of it. So how do you make rules for hot? How do you make rules for cold?
This weekend's going to be weird because we're going to have some cool nights. Not crazy cool, but it should be better than Bristol.
Is the rain going to hold off?
You know, look, Lyle, they called for rain all day Saturday, did they not here? All day. And guess what? Yeah. Beautiful day. Never rained and dropped.
It's Tyler Crossnote, though.
It is. So he brings rain in. But then they called for no rain today, and it rained down your way all morning, just about past you. But in Fayetteville, I mean, bad thunderstorms down that way. Yep. So
the rain is the 50-50 caliber. What's it going to do?
I think the rain will hang on.
Fingers crossed, baby.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Well, Lyle, I really appreciate you being on there.
Man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Who you want to thank? I know you want to thank some people before you get off.
Yeah.
there.
I mean, obviously, first and foremost, Tommy Youmans for giving me the opportunity to compete at this level. You know, I didn't really know what I was going to do when I walked away from the NHRA deal in 24. And Tommy, you know, not only did he give me a car to drive, he gave me 3 cars to drive. You know, and he's helping make my freaking dreams come true, man. I've dreamed as from a kid of racing pro mod with all you guys, and now we're out there competing and running really well. So it's just cool. But Billy Banaka for the opportunity to drive in the NHRA, Big Tony for my new venture in no time racing in pandemic. But Mark Stockseth and everybody at Outlaw Beer for helping me fund the NHRA deal this year. Dennis and Ed and everybody at Wright Mowers for their interest in the Tommy Youmans program. VP Racing Fuels is with me for anything that I drive, which is awesome, and then all the people that make it happen, like Lee White, one of the best to do it. Brandon Stroud tunes my NHRA car, Proline and Fuel Tech, and my boy Dustin Hart at Hart's Charger, all the fine folks at Pro Charger, and everybody that helps us, man. LAT Oil helps us out. I'm going to miss somebody. And then obviously my own selfless plug here at Mac Fab Beadlocks. We have a good time doing it. It's awesome to stay involved in the industry and be able to hang out with you guys and stuff and bullshit here on a podcast about it. And I'm just getting to live a dream, man. I've got a very supportive family here at home. My wife puts up with, Jason, more than anybody, a lot, allowing me to go do what I do, with 2 kids at home. And then obviously, my dad, man, he, without him, I wouldn't be here, and he spent a lot of money, even more time, allowing me to do it and chasing this dream with me. And it's really cool to get to do it together. So if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I still love y'all. And if you are not busy tomorrow night, catch us on Stevie Jackson's YouTube channel for the Shake and Bake show. Have a good one tomorrow night. But I appreciate you guys letting me come on, man. It's been a good time. And if you ever need me to come shoe in last minute, let me know.
All right, buddy. We appreciate it. Thanks,
Lyle. All right, bud. Yep. See y'all.
Yep.
And see you, buddy.
Yep. The man, the myth, the legend. Yep. As we kind of got off topic there a little bit, some stuff we tried to discuss, but I mean, I think it's informative. I didn't want to talk about Lyle's crash because I think we've all been down that road. And I think it's important that everybody knows where he's at and the safety aspect of it. But, it was important to get the things that we got out talked at, and it's good to have another perspective out there from somebody who is very.
He's a no nonsense guy.
Yeah,
and you know what, a lot of guys throw the IHR underneath the bus, blah blah blah, and you know what, he said exactly what we've been saying. It's just kind of a tragedy from there. So that I was waiting for him to go ape shit crazy, right? But he understands the racing. Like, he's one of the best guys in the business.
You got some pretty big news this week, excuse me.
We got a little bit going on here. We done got nominated for the Hoosier Hero.
Well, look at there.
Look at that face.
You should have shaved, for God's sakes.
Come on, I'm trying to grow a little something. I'm trying to grow a little something here, right? Trying to get rid of the baby face look.
Lyle's got that,
I don't know if I can do all that, right?
But food gets in there, all kinds of stuff.
Right. But
so explain this to me, because I don't really know much about
this. This is the Hoosier Hero program. We made it in the final 12. You got to go and vote. It's a vote process. It's a great program here with the Hoosier guys, and obviously we all run Hoosiers, but we're one of the few pro mod guys that got nominated for this deal. I don't know if anyone else in pro modified has been nominated for this Hoosier Hero deal. So it's pretty big deal.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, I've seen the Hoosier Heroes thing at PDRA, and I kind of know a little bit about it, and it's a nomination across a broad platform, not just drag racing. It's got dirt track, go-karts, asphalt, round track, stuff like that. So they pick, a finalize of people in our industry or in their motorsports industry, and people that have had a big success and have put out, just like you've got a lot of people follow you. You're a hometown guy. You're just a normal Joe Blow who's done great things in drag racing. And it's good to see that you do that. You're very well spoken when it comes to stuff with kids and, man, the things you guys do at Yellow Bulletin. So I think that's what it's all about. But
it is, and it's a pretty proud moment. Whether we make it all the way through, hopefully we do. But you know what I thought. I'm one of the old guys probably, but still to be out here and have something like this right here, it kind of gets you in the old gizzard a little bit.
It does. It does. It's good to see you. I know you guys have been working really hard at it. So please go vote for Steve. Go to the Hoosier Heroes. You can go to Pilot Racing or go to Steve's Facebook page, Boost and Bullshit Facebook page, and you can vote for Steve. Let's get him out there. Let's get one of our people that we know, somebody that's put a lot of passion in the sport. Hoosier's been a dominant force in motorsports in the last 30 or 40 years, probably. And this is just their way of giving back to those who give to them. So go vote for Steve at the Hoosier. I guess they'll announce it at PRI. Is that what they're going to do?
PRI, they're going to announce all that. And,
we got
it's a big deal out there, a couple of days.
2 weeks, 2 weeks to vote or 3 weeks to vote, I think.
Yeah, two, I think.
Yeah.
And, we'll get it out there and, hey, get some drag racing guys in there.
I thought it said nerd at the top. I thought it said Hoosier Nerd 2027.
Hey, come on, man. I ain't got my glasses on. There's a hillbilly here.
Yeah.
He just loves racing.
That's good. That's good. I'm proud of you, Steve. Appreciate you doing that for, our industry and our sport and carry it on. But
I like Lyle's deal with the kids.
That's a great idea. I got kids that are of age, one going to high school and that, and I got a college right next to me. I've got my local, but I just don't think about things like that. I mean, it's all work related stuff, but it's good to give back. I've done some school stuff back in the day, some career day stuff that's happened, but I think that's something that we need to look into. And again, it's something that can bring the future up, and we're going to have to work really hard to keep the future going in drag racing.
Sure.
And that's what we got to do.
Well, I think you and I both do a lot, like with the junior dragsters. We kind of go up there some with those guys.
I do. I like going up there.
Oh, I love it. And I got a couple guys.
I feel like I make them nervous though, because I'm standing up there and I'm looking at them and they're looking at me and they're in their car and I'm just like, I don't want to make you nervous,
Right. And no, and they're cool. Like I got 2 or 3 of them that I follow a lot. They're kind of local up here for me, Virginia area, and
I try not to pick favorites. I do have some favorites, but I try not to pick them.
Because I watch them all well because they're all young. You want to see do well, But I got 1 or 2 I give knuckles and whatnot, just up there to support them because they are the breath of what we got coming.
And what's funny is my kids had juniors and cared nothing. I didn't really like a junior either. I was more into the big car. So
yeah,
but that's kind of the way it goes. But
it is. We got to get them involved.
Well, that's a good episode. What, 42 of Boost and Bullshit?
42 of them, big
42.
dog. 42
Boost and Bullshit. Presented by Harts Charger.
You got to do
it. Let me tell you something. Harts Charger is a leading manufacturer in centrifugal superchargers. They are one of the best in the business. They've taken my program to the next level, and I could not do it without them. So Harts Charger, go check them out. They sell turbos. They got from diesel trucks to tractor pullers, and they got the new Harts Charger. They got some new street stuff coming out for the Harts Charger kind of thing. So go check them out. Check out all our sponsors have been with us all year long. All of them are great. All of them stick by us. We got a lot of support. So go like and subscribe, Boost and Bullshit, and go check out Harts Charger. And that'll be it for tonight's episode. What do you think?
Yes, sir. That's about 9:30, almost your bedtime.
It is past my bedtime. Well, I really appreciate you guys. Check out Pilot Racing. Check out Party Time Racing. Go check out HartsChargerRacing.com. Boost and Bullshit. We'll see you next time, guys. We got some great stuff coming up next. We'll be releasing some new guests. We got a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about. We got some tuners coming on. Going to talk about some things that probably are a little bit, taboo in the world of
pro modified,
but we got some stuff coming up. Yep. And we'll see you guys at Glot. Get out there. I tell you what, come by, see me. I got some gold chains I'm gonna give away. I got some t-shirts, got all kinds of things given away. And Steve, you can go see him in Top Dragster and make fun of him.
Make fun of me. Hey, win light's a win light.
I don't care about more than Top Dragster. I'm just talking about making fun of you in general.
That's fine. They're going to make fun of me regardless. It'll be all good. Hey, Dustin Hart's going to be there, so you guys come on down.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to Boost and Bullshit.